Hello guys, yesterday I made a system for crafting in the inventory. Today I'm going to do something a little more chill, and I'm going to make a system. So I'm going to make sand, and then I'm going to make a block update system so that I can make the sand fall. So yeah, I'll be sand and block updates ideally today. Let's get going. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, so I'm just going to code for the um, sand type of block to exist. So we're going to add that to this list here. Actually, I'm going to put a comma here. Sand equals 8. So sand is block type 8. I need to create the material for it. So case block type dot sand. This one, and then it's going to be I'm just going to return new vector2 int, and it's going to be 0, 3. So that I just know this is the coordinates of the sand texture on my texture atlas. I think that's all from here. Yeah. Block database then. Oh, nothing there. Okay, so I think that's actually all. Actually, I'm going to we're going to do this. Add face vertices. No, so it's going to be in, what am I thinking? Generate mock data. So we're just going to say, just to right now to test the sand block existing, I'm going to say block grid on, not tree X and tree Z, it's just going to be block grid on X. We'll just make it 4, 9, 4, plus 4, 9, 4 equals block type dot sand. So this is just going to create one sand block in the world. And yeah. So then next things I need to do, the player needs to have one more block counts item, block types. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the same thing. And then this here. Crafting table. So let's close these. This is going to be sand. Type is going to be type 8. Drop type is 8. Durability, we'll say 2 for now. Drop material is going to be that thing I created earlier, and then the inventory material is going to be that material that I created earlier. Okay, so now, I think the only thing left to do is just test to make sure. Oh, there's an error. There's a syntax error in this, which is just, okay. Give me a second. Line 16. Okay, so you just don't add that. Okay, so now let's hope there's a sand block. Let's see any reason there wouldn't be. Look at that. We have ourselves a sand block. Break it. Look at that. You a sand block in your inventory. And you open the inventory and put it somewhere else. And then you can place the sand block. Look at that. Yeah, so we have ourselves a sand block. Look at that. Nice. Okay, so the way I'm going to make the sand blocks is make them fall is by creating on a block update, which is going to be just something to happen when a block is placed. It notifies every block next to it that there was a change that happened, and then for every block, then those blocks that get notified that a change happened, they will do some kind of check. And for sand, it's going to be if there's a air block underneath it, and if there's an air block underneath the sand block, what it's going to do is it's going to it's going to create a identical looking cube block that's its own object, which then is going to fall, and when it hits the ground, it's going to create a block on the mesh of the chunk that's exactly the same. So it just looks like it fell, and then yeah, just landed there. So I suppose it'll probably make more sense once I actually do it, but yeah. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a cube, 3D object then, cube. Where's my cube at? It's going to be called sand block. Focus on the sand block because I don't know where to, okay, 0, 0, 0. I'm going to move it up and 10, and 5 right there. Okay, so this will just, I'm just going to see if this is the, actually, first I'm going to apply the sand material to it. Oh, never mind, that's not going to work, so good thing I caught that. We're going to put a good cube in there. It's called 5, 10, 0, 0. And then we're going to apply the sand to it. So there we go. Okay, I think that's going to be too big, but I will check. Bigger than your average block? Yeah, that's like 2 blocks. That's exactly 2 blocks though, which is good. Yeah, if I just go grab this block, place it by it. Yeah, fits perfectly, but there's just 2. So I should go in this one. But yeah, so I'm gonna make that smaller and then do all the things. So scale is going to be 50 by 50 by 50, and then I'm going to give it a rigid body material, so, or rigid body component. So this is going to allow it to use gravity. Let's give it a mass, I don't know, 10 something. Freeze rotation on all axes, and we're going to freeze its position on the X and Z axes, so it can literally only just fall straight down. And then instead of putting it at Y5, we'll put it at, or 10, we'll make it 520, and then we're going to give it a box collider, and also another box collider as a trigger. So what this should do is this should just fall straight down, and then so there, now it fell. Yeah. I guess it's on 4 different. Is that even right? Oh no. What that's doing, but I think that's the right level. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Next thing, I need to make a sand block material. not material, script. Okay, and also on the chunk. So another thing we're going to do is we're going to do let's have a void update update adjacent blocks, and then have vector3 int position, or have another one for void. It's called block update. So this one is going to be, this is going to check every directive adjacent blocks. So check every direction, and it's going to block update in that position. So we're also going to put vector3 in position there. Vector3 in position. There we go. Okay. Update collision mesh. Oh, this is for actually put it in player controller. So breaking, placing stuff. If a block is placed, focus on no. I think this is it. Yeah. So yes, this is it. So greater than 0. Here. So do we have a chunk? Yep. Chunk dot I call it update adjacent blocks. This public quick. Oh, chunk. And then chunk here. So this is the position of okay. Oh, it's just place target. Never mind. Place target. So this is the yeah. And so replace. So we're gonna update adjacent blocks and place target, and also for breaking. So block is yeah. I think that's block was block. Block is just the position, so we're just gonna say here too. Chunk dot update adjacent blocks block. That should work then. Block data. Okay. And then in the chunk script. So have a block update post dot x so x plus 1 post dot y post dot z, and I'm going to do this plus and minus 1 every dimension. Okay, and then after that, we're going to check actually we can do it just a switch. Let's switch block grid position post dot x post dot y post dot z case block type dot sand is going to be is there a way of doing it even? You know what, I'm not going to do it this way, I'm just going to use it because that's fine. I know how to do more. If block grid on post dot x post dot y post dot z equals block type dot sand, and we're going to then it's going to check if the block under is air. So if block grid post dot x post dot y minus 1 position.z equals block type.air. Then it's going to, then essentially going to set the sand block grid on post.x, post.y, post.z, post.x, or post.z actually for that matter. Come on. Post.z equals block type.air and create mesh. So then I think we're also going to create an object, a game object for the for the sand block. Public game object sand block. Instantiate the sand block there, so instantiate sand block transform dot position plus the pose offset. Okay, what is that? Okay, and then we can say quaternion dot identity. Okay. Okay, so what this should do is make it fall. Okay, so we're going to test this quick. So I've got this block. I'm going to just mine under it quick, and we're going to see what happens when that, see if it turns into that type of block and falls. Now, it was destroyed, but it didn't. Oh, so that's right. It should have done that, but it should have created a little other block too. So what I'm going to do there, I got to make this a prefab, don't I? So unpack, stick that in prefabs and the chunk. I need the chunk here. Oh, sand block is going to be sand block. Weird, doesn't have any other, okay, public variables. That, mine. Okay, so that kind of worked. Issue was, I think its collider is too big. Actually, I don't think it needs. I don't think this actually needs a regular not trigger box collider. So I'm going to remove that component, and then it should just fall straight down because it has no collision mesh. It should just fall straight down. Let's see where it's right here. And it should fall. Okay, so looks like we need to add 0.5 in every dimension to it. Plus vector 3, 0.5f, 0.5f. Now, ideally, this should make the sand block fall, obey gravity, you know? There it is. Bunk, bunk. See if this works. Okay, so yes, that does make it fall, except we need to make it stop and go there. Now, on sand block, don't think we need any of that, except we do need public void on trigger enter. So this is going to be for when it detects a trigger. This is going to be chunk equals other dot game object dot get component chunk. Actually, if it is a chunk, so if other dot try get component type chunk. I don't know what this does, but I can put on ouch chunk. That work? Let's see what this looks like. Should potential fixes. Why does it? Just okay. Well, is there a tag for chunk? Because I don't want to have to make one if there isn't. But just what other kind of tag could it be? Either player or item. Interesting. So I think. So yeah. So I'm just gonna say if it's not item, because there will very well be an item object in it. If other dot compare tag of type item. You did that, didn't I? So if we're to say not other, so it's not an item, then we're going to say chunk equals other dot component chunk. And we're going to say their position. So place position. Now it's going to be a vector3 int and place pose or equals that's the chunk's position. Oh, it's going to be its position. Equals transform dot position minus new vector3 of 0.5f, 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 f, just the f at the end just denotes that this is a float, which is a certain kind of number, minus other dot transform dot position. Okay. If we just do this, call it a vector int. Does that work? No. Okay. Transform. Show me. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say vector3. Vector3, I'm just gonna call it a v. V equals, so it's just give me the variable for this and I'm gonna round it. Do that, and then I set this to new vector3 and we're gonna round each variable. So mathf dot round to dot round to int v dot x mathf dot round to int v dot y and mathf dot round to int v dot z. So that should give us the position then. So this is just the position in relation to the chunk. I'm gonna say chunk dot block grid on place pose dot x, place pose dot y, place pose dot z equals block type dot sand. And then after that, we will just destroy it. Destroy the following sand block. Destroy game object. Except this gcam has got to be lowercase. Now I think that should work. As long as we add that script to this. So sand block. Okay. Now I'm going to actually get rid of the sand block because I don't need it. I'm going to try it, see how it works. Okay. So we have ourselves a sand block right here. See if we can get this thing to fall into the hole. Nope, it didn't work. So it still didn't like make it appear, which is weird because it did that before. So chunk. Why didn't it create that? Interesting. That's weird. So in the chunk script, I don't know. I'm just gonna say here debug.log should have worked. Okay, if we get that message, then we don't, because it didn't create it. Oh, I think I know what it did actually. So it actually should work. It just collided right away. So it collided right away. Actually, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to adjust this collider on SandBlock to make it edit collider of component. A box collider. Edit. Can I edit it? Size. Don't know why it's not working. Collide. Oh, why can't I click the edit collider button? It's a little frustrating. Okay, we're just gonna make it. Centers can be 0, 0, 0. We're gonna make it. Why is this not working like it usually does? This is frustrating. Size 0.02, 0.01, 0.01. Yeah, I think ideally that should not just collide right away. It should fall and then hit. Oh, actually, one more thing we need to do. We need to redraw the mesh on SandBlock. So I say chunk dot create mesh. So then, yeah. Got stuck. Oh gosh, come on. Come on. Oh, because I needed to make it a trigger collider, didn't I? Yeah. So that did work, but just didn't. Well, actually, it didn't work. I know it didn't work about it. So here we go. Nice, nice. Now we have ourselves a. Okay, that worked great. Yeah, nice. So then I think an issue though. You do that, then. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Weird. If I break that block. Still didn't work. Okay, that's just weird. Let me make. Okay, so that did work. Inventory chunk script. So I got that. And then we're going to say update adjacent blocks there. So actually here. So update adjacent blocks. So that should update adjacent blocks. Nice. So that will then update itself there. Also, we're going to put a new block update on that exact position. Block update on its own position. Nice. I don't think that would have made much of a difference, but I know why. Because I know what was happening actually. It was colliding with the top and setting right back. So we need to make it only able to collide. So this also needs to be 0, 0, 1. And then make it 0.005. I think that might work. We have ourselves a sand block. Nice. With the sand block. And then we're going to place the sand block right there. Nice. Yeah. Yes, it does. That looks like it works. Yes, today we got sand blocks working. So there's a sand block, but what happens when you break the block under it? It falls, which is cool. Break the block if you like, and then if you were to put the block like up here in the tree, it would fall down. So that, look at that. And then, yeah, so how it worked was whenever you break a block next to a the sand block would check to see if there's an air block under it, and if there was, it would switch itself. It would switch itself out for a physical object that could fall, and then when that physical object detected it hit the chunk, then it would detect where to place a sand block, and yeah, that's how it works. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Later.